Welcome to Speculative Sandbox, your audio playground for creative storytellers. My name is Vickie Lan, and in each episode, I and a guest will unpack a trope with an eye for world building, character development, or narrative structures. You can also join the conversation on TikTok and Instagram. For those times when the real world just doesn't cut it, let's get lost in a fictional one. Hi, Grace. I'm so glad to have you a part of the show today. Instead of a regular icebreaker, I want to launch straight into the topic because we got some current events going. So for now, can you introduce yourself and share with our listeners your latest projects?
All right. My name is Grace Richard. I'm a science fiction and fantasy romance author. Um, I currently have one science fiction romance on Amazon. It's called Universe of Passion. This is the book right here.
Ooh, very pretty.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I just think the topic of aliens and that there could be intelligent life on other planets is just fascinating. I grew up
Same.
watching a lot of science fiction, so I'm just hoping a lot of that, at least maybe 10% of that is real and it can actually happen.
Yeah, same. I am the same. I remember being very young and people were first well, when I was young, my first exposure to people speculating on if you think aliens are in other planets or out there. And I just feel like space is so large. I don't feel like we could be the only ones here. So and aliens don't necessarily need to be something we recognize, right? So, opening our minds to what that could mean. Okay, so we are filming this on November 15th. This is going to air sometime in January. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit of place setting right now. And the reason why I really wanted to talk about this is because yesterday there was a House hearing in the United States with former NASA officials and former military officials. I was first alerted to it because of my TikTok. And a lot of it was, we're just getting confirmation that aliens are from the ocean. And there was there's a House hearing, and so I started seeing footage of that, and I'm like, okay, so let's find some resources here. So I found a Washington Times article. I thought this would be a great opener to our discussion, where we're going to talk about where are the aliens. We're going to look at how fiction deals with it. We're going to play with some real speculation, but let's get started with this current event. So. Former NASA official Michael Gold said most UFOs are likely drones, experimental aircraft, or rare weather phenomenon that produce strange lights or reflections, right? But there's a percentage that isn't. And looking into those anomalies is how discoveries will be made. So that's pretty big. The fact that, oh yeah, there's military reasons behind those weird lights in the sky, but doesn't explain all of it. Then, former military officials testified that the Pentagon and intelligence agencies have a vast trove of information, including high-resolution photos and videos of UFOs that have been hidden from the public and Congress. One of those military officials is quoted to say, "Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the US, is in possession of these technologies, as are some of our adversaries." And this person goes on to say, "I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our representatives and oversight bodies." So that was in the Washington Times. I'm telling this to you now for the first time. What are your thoughts on this?
Um, I guess some of it could be a cover up,
Hmm.
or I mean, from some of the stuff I've seen on online or other TV shows, it's possible we have aliens infiltrating the government.
It's it's okay. So TikTok has had some very interesting reactions, and it's consistent with other mind-blowing people making former military officials saying things under testimony, where everyone's kind of like, "Cool, show me an actual alien, and then I'll believe you," or "Cool, but can you like make grocery prices cheaper?" The world is just so, and I remember a lot of this was coming out too during the pandemic, and people are literally like, there are bigger things. People are literally dying, to quote the
Yeah.
Kardashians. So, which that's kind of how, like, in the immediate reaction, I kind of feel that way too. I'm like, cool, awesome, come back when you have something more solid than all this kind of like secrecy kind of things. Um, my first thought was, are they just trying to prime us for a united external villain to justify military spending? And they always say you can create unity in a body of people by creating an outside enemy. So could this be doing that? I don't know. But anyway, those are my thoughts. What do you think?
I mean, it is true. Mob mentality is very powerful. And if you give them something to hate, they're all going to rally.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this could be the aliens just seeing how we react to different things.
Okay.
I mean,
Testing us?
there are speculations that aliens have actually been monitoring humans for thousands of years. I mean, there's some landmarks that still can't be explained.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Can you tell me about one?
Like the island where they have those big heads carved into it.
Oh, the Easter Islands?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the I mean, I don't know if humans actually looked like that back then, but if aliens did actually interact with humans, they would be perceived as gods.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so backing up a little bit, where are the aliens? That is our theme today. So straight out of the gate, what is your favorite where are the aliens theory?
I think they're probably walking amongst us, disguised as other humans, or uh, when you watch Stanley's Superhumans, I mean, those could be aliens.
Okay. What are Stanley's you talking with Stanley superhumans?
Yeah, it was a show about people who have extraordinary abilities that other humans just don't have.
Okay. All right. What are some fictional examples in books that you like?
Um, well, I haven't really read too many science fiction books. I've mostly watched science fiction shows, but Babylon 5, for example,
Okay.
like the way the aliens are perceived in that universe is some look humanoid, but then there are others that they either look like bugs or sea creatures or just something that can't be explained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at different fictional examples, fiction books that try to answer the question of where are the aliens. So, as you were saying, kind of hidden amongst us. So that's the Men in Black theory. Then they're in another dimension. That's Stranger Things. So they have to go into the upside down to get, access to this creature that can pass over. If we were arguing that aliens are interdimensional creatures. Then there's the idea that they're out there, they're just waiting for us to get to their level, which would be what they is reflected in Star Trek's Prime Directive. The three body problem explores the idea that Earth is quarantined from everyone else because we're the problem. Which, I'm like, I get that. I don't blame them for thinking that about us, especially right now. Or that, they're just kind of watching us, like you said, and War of the Worlds kind of presents that. I think War of the Worlds, they're already here, right? They've been building things and they're going to attack us at some point, but they're already here. So fiction tends to present alien life forms as superior to us, right? We see them as threatening. Why do you think that is?
I think it's the old thing. If it's something different we don't understand, then it must be a threat.
Hmm.
However, personally, I believe if there's a more advanced civilization, then they probably try to communicate with us gently.
Hmm.
Because let's just say all those spaceship sightings, or you see a shooting star and you think it's a spaceship, maybe they're monitoring us to see our evolutionary process.
Hmm.
And maybe they're waiting for us, like you said, to get on our level before they actually make contact.
It is kind of funny because if you think about it, like horror movies, the bad guys in horror movies. Can you be any more dramatic about your intention, right? Like Ghostface killer and all that stuff. So if you're, let's say, let's put us in the aliens' shoes and we're monitoring another planet. Why be so secretive? It's just kind of funny to go the extra steps. Like we're going to observe them and oops, they saw me and, dash away. And similar to like zoos, right? We have animals in cages and we observe them. I guess are they so kind of shady and difficult to track down because they're scared of what we think of them? Are they making mistakes when they get, when we supposedly see weird things? What do you think?
Personally, I think maybe if they were going to make themselves known to us, maybe they did years ago, and more primitive humans just didn't know what to make of them.
Which might have led to what you said, our interpretation of early gods.
Yeah, and maybe they use that excuse they use it as an excuse to, to start the Holy Wars.
Ooh,
And
okay.
maybe the aliens saw that and they're like, we need to back off because these humans are just, they're quick to choose violence.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like our knee-jerk reaction to assuming aliens are violent, or as these military officials are claiming, that if, okay, we are finding alien technology and using said alien technology in an arms race, directly out of the article, then we've made an assumption that the technology is violent and we can only use it for violence. Like violence is the instinctual first thing to go to. Why do you think that is?
I think that's just human nature. Um, I mean, you meet someone and automatically you're thinking, can I beat this person up?
Can you measure them? You're like, can I survive a fight?
Yeah. I mean, back in the day when people would have to, hunt and gather for food and resources, I mean, violence was what people used.
Hmm.
And as we progressed, the invention of swords, guns, bombs, what have you.
Yeah, it certainly seems on our planet we're also relying, the circle of life, right? The pyramid, the food pyramid, however you want to say it, where the mosquito gets eaten by the bat, gets eaten by the cat, gets eaten by um,
Mhm.
the entire ecosystem is based off of someone eating another. And so it's a bit of a death planet. And I imagine if there are aliens and they're monitoring us, they're probably like, ooh, we know that if we were to make ourselves known, the first instinct that these people are going to do is try to fight us.
Hmm.
And maybe so then an assumption, I guess, can be made. If an alien is choosing to opt out of doing that, then they're not maybe violent based. Maybe they're more the fact that they even care to observe us in the first place, maybe they're more education and science based.
Yeah, or you can go with the South Park theory that they're watching us because it's good TV.
We're okay, so like the ultimate reality show, which
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Okay. What do you think? Okay, then stepping back a little bit, what do you think is probably the most entertaining thing to watch about us then?
Um, probably probably to see what makes us go from 0 to 100.
Okay. Like reactions to things?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that we're very interesting to watch right now. So maybe that, yeah. Let's talk about science fiction theories. So, science fiction is very much influenced by real life. So, let's discuss the real theories that attempt to explain where the aliens are. So, I'm going to kind of go through them. The first one is the Fermi paradox, which is known as the Great Silence. It's the idea that there isn't anything. It's silent. It's like we're so far apart from each other. How likely do you think this is?
It's probably very likely.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, most of us go by our lives day to day, and now that we have smartphones and social media and all that, Um, we just don't notice things as much as we used to.
Okay. The next theory is the Great Filter, which is that there are real life restrictions to evolutionary development and technological advancements that could connect societies across so many different planets. I feel like this is very much a thing. The book, oh, shoot, it's by the guy who wrote The Martian, and why am I blanking on it? Project Hail Mary has that, captures that, the idea that making contact with another species that has the same advanced technologies. What do you think of that theory?
I think it's a sound theory that as our technology advances, they might try to contact us.
Hmm. Okay. Another one that was in the current events, which I find to be kind of wild, is the concept of Dyson spheres. Have you heard that before?
No.
Okay. Proposed by Freeman Dyson, astronomers are actively searching for Dyson spheres as indicators of advanced civilizations by studying unusual celestial objects for unexplained light dips. So let me explain what that means. Um, a Dyson sphere is supposed to be some sort of construct around a star that kind of fuels off of the energy of the star. And of course, we can't even do that. But the idea is that if we can tell that another alien species has that, then that's the presence of alien life and they're very advanced. Um, so there's been some news articles about astronomers like apparently seeing some. NASA has apparently found some because they can't explain the unexplained light dips. And usually a light dip, that usually means something passed in front of a star. So a
Mhm.
planet, that's how you can tell how many things are rotating around a star. I'm pulling straight. I took like 3 classes in astronomy in college and very excited about it. It was very geeky to me. Um, to me, I'm like, that's a very interesting jump though, to say we can't explain what this is. So of course it's a construct that aliens built to feed off of stars. It's just so extreme. So what do you think of the Dyson sphere?
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I
Hmm.
mean, a construct that can feed off the energy of a star sounds pretty cool.
Hmm.
Of course, that could be also they're doing it to stars to see if they can actually build one big enough to run off our sun.
Hmm. With so the intention of creating a Dyson sphere in their own solar system is to possibly do something to ours. Is that what you
Oh,
think?
it's a
What you're saying?
theory.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So that was Dyson spheres. So if anyone wants to look up Dyson spheres, I find that to be fascinating. I feel like humans are so imaginative. And that's why I also love fiction, science fiction, because it kind of like self-informed self, I guess you can say. All
Hmm.
right, rare earth hypothesis. I think this goes in with the idea that kind of like the Great Filter, but complex life requires specific conditions that might be unusual. When I was young, I used to think, thank God no one's going to pick me up and drop me on Mars. I'm not going to live very long because I can't live in those conditions. And I remember thinking, what happens if like someone just sucked the air out of Earth? Oh my God, how am I going to live? And then I realized I evolved with the Earth. I am here as a condition of the Earth. So everything that I need right now, the Earth provides. And so we can do what we can given our circumstances, but what are the odds that another planet out there has the same Earth-like conditions versus, I don't know, look at Saturn's or Pluto's moons. They have different conditions, so their signs of life could be very different. So, what are your thoughts
Hmm.
on the rare Earth hypothesis?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell if maybe there's another galaxy that has a planet that's similar to ours, where they breathe oxygen, they need to drink water, they need a cup of coffee in the morning, like the rest of
Mhm.
us do. It's hard to say.
Okay. This next theory I find to be very, very interesting. It's called the self-destruction hypothesis. This is the idea that civilizations usually self-implode before they can reach the point of interstellar communications. Like, and frankly, I feel like that's just kind of looking in a mirror and having our own fears, right? Like, can we even get there? And we're all feeling very anxious about where we are, civilization-wise. So, do you think whatever it requires to reach that level of communications, cannot, like a civilization like that cannot be held back by their violent tendencies. Like having too much information is self-destructive for some species. What are your thoughts?
Um, I mean, they always say knowledge is power,
Mm-hmm.
and it depends on what you do with that information. I mean, some people will embrace it and try to build off it, and there are other people who use it to try to create pandemonium.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is happening right now, related to this theory, as we're getting news articles about alien sightings? Suddenly, something that seems very clandestine and secretive, you have military officials and NASA officials coming out saying, yeah, UFOs are real. And by the way, we think things are in the ocean. Do you think this relates to like where we are at a point in society?
I think right now, um, a lot more people are concerned over what's happening with Russia and Israel and Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the other people who they don't want to deal with real life. They'd rather focus on what's going on in the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably get a lot of people who are reading this and they're like, "Oh my God, I was right. There are saucers, there are aliens. Let's let's get a group together and see if we can find them."
Mm. Mm-hmm. And it almost seems like a little niche right now,
Mm.
especially when the general reaction to these hearings is like, whatever, I have more important things to deal with right now. Like you said, the wars that are happening and social unrest and grocery store prices and all those things like that feels more here, now, and present versus, well, if the aliens have been watching us this entire time and they haven't done anything yet, like maybe I can table that for another time. Okay. And then the last hypothesis I found was the interstellar distance and timescale hypothesis, which basically says the universe is enormous and civilization timescales may not align, right? So there could be a planet out there right now, but they're kind of experiencing our ancient civilizations era. I feel like this is probably a pretty good assumption to make. Also, the fact that it's so huge of a space that the years it takes to make contact, civilizations could have like disappeared by now. Their sun could have burned up and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
what do you think of that one?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, if there is another planet that has life, there's no guarantee they have developed their technology or even a civilization like ours.
Hmm.
It's possible they're still at the caveman level.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any theories that I've missed or that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think there's any other theories I can think of.
Okay. Any other fictional examples that you like or books? Just before I move
Uh,
on, so I don't miss any of it.
oh, well, I did enjoy Dune.
Okay.
The fact that they all run off the spice of Arrakis.
Hmm.
It's not unlike us back in the Middle Ages where everything was about spices and salt and stuff that you needed to preserve food.
Right. Do you think the aliens in today's context, applying ourselves now in current events, the aliens have any reasons to think of us as a resource or a planet?
I mean, we do have clean water, food, vegetation, and hopefully they don't see humans and think of us as cows or chickens.
Mm, yeah. All right, so let's jump back to like the writing experience. So why do we as writers or why do we as readers love these stories so much? Why do we enjoy unpacking theories online and having discussions? What draws us to it?
I think it's because it just takes us out of our current reality and we just love diving into what other people think reality should be.
Oh, okay. Okay, so so by creating a reality where there's aliens, it makes you feel like you're a little bit more in control.
Yeah, like if you can read a book and really immerse yourself in it and pretend like maybe you're in that universe and aliens are real and you can talk to them and maybe even go grab dinner with one. I mean, that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Um, do you, is there a certain theory that you gravitate to the most that you think is the most entertaining? I know you talked about having aliens are already amongst us, but is there one that's just outlandish? You're like, hey, and after hearing all of the theories today, is there anyone that you particularly like?
I like the one where I think aliens are watching us, but they're not directly interfering with us. They just want to see what we do.
Okay. How do you think this reconciles with the theory that they're in the ocean? Because then I'm like, if they're in the ocean, are they aliens or are they just like they're just Earthlings at that point? You know, like the octopus. A lot of people are talking about how the octopus seems alien in nature because it's so intelligent. So, I don't know. What do you think of the in they're in the ocean theory?
I mean, it could be maybe they were hiding down there because they breathe water.
Hmm.
But then again, there's so much we don't know about marine life because the deeper you go, the more pressure it is.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
they say to this day there's species of aquaculture that we don't even know exist yet.
yeah. Apparently, we know more about space than we do the depths of our own ocean. Probably because, you know, we can do so much about space with cameras and light and math that we can't quite do under pressure with the ocean, which is which is interesting. Um, I wanna learn more about our underwater. Like the ocean terrifies me. That is a scary thing out there. But I find it to be so fascinating. Okay, can you think of anything that hasn't been explored yet that explains where the aliens are, scientific or speculative?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure we've been able to explore outside our own galaxy yet.
Okay. Is
So if we don't know what's beyond our own solar system, then do we really know what's out there?
Yeah, that's a good point. There's so many theories right now, like dark matter and uh, increasing. What is it when we're actually increasing in our expansion? You're like, okay, well, what's pulling from the other side? Men in Black has a great ending where we find out our galaxy is just a marble amongst many other marbles, and that's kind of a fun little head trip to think like all our concept and ideas of space and time are very limited to what we can fully grasp and understand and what our mathematics allow. I came up with a fictional one. So, and I'm giving this away, guys. If anyone writers out there want to write this, it just kind of came from maybe it's already made and I just don't know it, but when I was brainstorming. So, here's how I would create a new theory. My theory is that the aliens have been communicating with us all this time. They started millions, billions of years ago. And whatever it is that they use to communicate with us became the building blocks of life on Earth. So it could be a specific wavelength. It could be, I don't know, like I'm not an actual scientist. So we aren't just receiving their communications, we're entirely dependent on it to live. So it could be something that affects our oxygen. It could be something that's, you know, helps to study some sort of chemical reaction on our planet. And it just happens to be that way. And then one day, that alien life form dies out, right? They have their own societal collapse, their sun explodes, whatever. And then whatever that heartbeat is that fuels our life is going to go out. So the idea that we aren't just looking for aliens, we're actually entirely dependent on them. We exist because of them. So that's my thought. What do you think?
Oh, that's pretty fascinating, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like the idea where the thing you're looking for is inside you all along, kind of idea. Um, anyway, that was my thought. Anyway, do you have
That's
any final thoughts or speculations or just excitement that you want to share about the where are the aliens trope?
well, all I want to say is if there are real aliens watching and listening to us, I'm like, if you see what's going on in the world right now, just enjoy the show.
I feel like that's an optimistic way. Yeah, it's an optimistic output because part of me is like seeing the alien like interviews and testimonials, and I'm just like, oh, one more thing that I have to worry about right now. So I hope it's a cover up. I hope it's like this um I don't know. My speculation is it's a way to get us primed and ready for an external force just to justify beefing up military. And maybe that's an extremist thought process, and maybe that's too, not speculative enough. Um, and I hope it's not that either, honestly, because we don't need to do that if that is the case. And I hope if there's any aliens out there, I hope that they're really nice. And I
Mm.
assume they are because they kind of left us alone for a while. So, anyway, all right. How can people find you, Grace?
I am on Facebook, Instagram. Um, I have a LinkedIn account. My sorry, little
Oh,
dry
anyway.
throat.
Yeah, no worries.
My book is on Amazon.
Okay,
That's a good way to find me. I have an Amazon author account too.
cool. Can you show your
Um,
cover again? There you have it, everybody. Universe of Passion. Very nice.
and the aliens are very nice in this book.
Good. Yay. Thank you. Are they sexy aliens? Or are they just like,
Yes.
yeah, okay, perfect. We need some sexy aliens right now.
Well, actually, one theory I put in the book is that aliens had no idea Earth even existed.
Yeah, because we're not the center of the universe, huh? So that would make sense.
And it took one of our space stations malfunctioning and floating off into a different galaxy for them to even know we existed.
I like that.
So the aliens in the book actively go and try to find Earth.
Okay. And what is their intention without giving away too much? Do they want to hurt us or help us or observe us?
Well, they want to help us, but they're more fascinated by humans because the one piece of technology they're able to salvage from the space station is a VCR with a videotape in it.
Ooh, okay.
And the videotape's the most beautiful thing they've ever seen in their lives, and they have to find the people who made it.
I love that. I mean, naturally, I would want to do that too if I found an alien spacecraft and there was some sort of recording device that showed me something so different and new. I would absolutely want to track that down. So that's cool. How very, very exciting. All right, Grace, anything else you'd like to share?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, listeners. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have another episode next week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.